Hey everyone, Ryan with McFadden Sales here. Today I wanted to go over a couple common questions as well as some pro tips to consider when you're installing or optimizing a wireless microphone system. Now there's many ways to utilize and deploy wireless microphones, but there's definitely some ground rules to consider too. Let's dig in. All right, now the first question that you'll want to ask yourself when you're installing a wireless microphone system is how many wireless microphones are going to be in use at the same time? Asking yourself that question will determine how many wireless channels you need for your system. Now, it can be any number of combinations of systems in your given rig. It can be all handheld wireless transmitters, or it can be all body packs with lavalier or headset microphones, and even instrument wireless, or a mix and match of all those things together. And Shure does a really great job of offering single channel systems like the SLXD system we have up here, but Shure also makes dual channel systems and even quad channel systems. Another cool note about these wireless microphone systems, say it's a corporate speaking event. If there's really only one channel of wireless that's going to be used at any given time, you could sync up different transmitters to go with whatever your needs are at that current time. So for instance, at that corporate speaking event that I mentioned, this hypothetical speaking event, of course, you could have a speaker that's more comfortable using a handheld microphone, and then the very next day you could have a speaker that would like a lavalier or a headset mic with a body pack. All that's required there is just syncing up whatever transmitter you want to use at any given time. All right, now here's a pro tip for larger campuses and institutions. Definitely consider the area where you're going to be using all of these wireless microphones, and generally consider within like a 1,000 foot distance here. So within that area, if you're needing, let's say 20 channels of SLXD wireless here, a really cool practice to do, and it's definitely recommended, is to split up the frequency bands of those wireless channels. For instance, you would do 10 channels of SLXD in the G58 band, as well as the other 10 channels in say the J52 band. Now, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of splitting up those frequency bands, it's giving you it's a more robust use of the wireless spectrum in that area. Another question I'm asked is, when do I need to utilize a antenna distribution system or a antenna splitter? Now, generally speaking here, and this applies for both wireless microphones and in-ear monitor systems, you'll want to use some sort of antenna distribution when you're using 2 or more channels of wireless. Now, what is the main benefit here? When you're using an antenna splitter or a distribution system, the main benefit is a more linear and spectrally efficient use of the wireless in that space. Now, Shure does have free software tools on their website, shure.com, to assist with building out an entire wireless system with antenna distribution and splitting. It is the Shure Wireless Accessory Wizard, and it's a really easy workflow. You'll see it here, and it just asks you a couple very easy questions. And at the end of completing that questionnaire, Shure will actually give you a list of all the parts and pieces needed to build out your wireless system. Now, another question I'm asked is, when do I use remote antennas with my wireless system? And to answer that, it's really simple. If you don't have a direct line of sight from the transmitters to the wireless receivers, this goes for wireless mics and in-ear monitor systems, mind you. If you don't have that direct line of sight, it's generally recommended to use remote antennas in that situation. Now, why would you want to use remote antennas anyways? It gives you a clearer, stronger wireless signal. And what that means for us audio nerds is a cleaner signal and less opportunity for dropouts. Okay, so I've talked about antenna distribution and the number of wireless channels needed for your microphone rig. There's one other pro tip, and it's on Shure's website, that I definitely recommend you use before you install any wireless microphone system. And that tool is Shure's Frequency Finder. And it's a very simple tool. All you do is enter in the city or the zip code of where this wireless microphone system or in your monitor system will be deployed. And once you enter that info in, Shure will give you a list of the frequency bands and the number of channels available for those microphone systems. This allows you to choose the best frequency band for your wireless system in any particular area. All right, and one other pro tip I wanted to mention here has to do with utilizing wireless microphones and in-ear monitor systems at the same time in the same rig. Now, for instance here, if you're a touring band or if it's a house of worship where both are in use at the same time here, one of the best tips I ever learned was separating, like we said with the wireless microphones earlier, but do that same concept with wireless mics and in-ear monitor systems. Now, for instance, you would want to have your wireless microphones, say in a 540 to 618 megahertz frequency band, but have your in-ear monitors in a lower spectrum here. Similar to what I mentioned with the wireless mics earlier, that separation of the frequency bands is just a more robust and efficient use of the spectral space there. All right, and those are some simple questions and some pro tips that I wanted to highlight here for everyone. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, definitely reach out to McFadden Sales. Thanks so much.